Have you ever wondered why so many women, strong, beautiful, intelligent women, quietly drift toward older men? It's not a trend, it's not a fetish, and it's definitely not just about money, because behind closed doors where no one's watching, a quiet truth is unfolding. More and more women are choosing men with wrinkles over men with abs. And at first glance, you might think it's the financial security, it's the sugar daddy thing. She's just using him. But slow down. What if the truth is deeper? What if the attraction isn't about his wallet, but his wisdom? You see, there's something older men give that most young men still haven't learned how to offer. Safety, stillness, softness, presence, patience. These aren't flashy qualities. They don't show up in selfies or flex in front of cameras, but women feel them in their nervous system, and once she's felt it, she doesn't forget. Because a woman who's been loved gently, who's been listened to without being fixed, who's been touched with care instead of ego, will never again settle for fast, loud, shallow love. And that's what today is about. This is not a video about age. It's a video about energy. If you are a younger man watching this is not an attack. It's an invitation to grow deeper, to love better, to understand what makes a woman truly stay. Because once you learn the hidden reasons women crave older men, you'll stop asking why do they want them instead of us, and start asking what do they feel with him that they've never felt with me. Let's break it down, reason by reason, starting with the one most men never notice until it's too late. 1. Emotional understanding. It's not just about experience, it's about emotional intelligence. When a woman says I'm tired, or not today, it's not a test, it's her truth in that moment. But many younger men take that as rejection, failure, or even manipulation. They interpret it through ego instead of empathy. Older men, they've lived long enough to know that intimacy is not a transaction. They don't panic when a woman isn't in the mood. They don't guilt her, pressure her, or throw a tantrum like a teenager who thinks he's owed something. Instead, they say things like, okay, no problem. Do you want tea? Want to just lie here and talk instead? Tell me what you need tonight. I'm here. That response alone, it makes a woman feel safe. And emotional safety is the one thing every woman needs before she can even want intimacy. Younger men often rush into relationships with unrealistic expectations. They believe being in a relationship, regular intimacy on demand. When their partner says no, they feel entitled to ask, then why am I here? Older men don't ask that. They've lived through enough yeses and nos to realize that real intimacy starts when you stop keeping score. To them, a no isn't the end of connection. It's an opportunity for deeper closeness. The secret? Women don't just want to be touched, they want to be understood. And an older man who listens, slows down, and reads her energy without needing her to explain, that man, he becomes unforgettable. Not because he's perfect in bed, but because he knows when not to try. Because real men know this. Consent isn't just a yes, it's a vibe, a tone, a timing, and the men who respect it win long-term loyalty. 2. Genuine care and nurturing. What most younger men still don't understand. There's a kind of care that can't be faked. It's not flowers on Valentine's Day. It's not calling her babe and replying to texts with hearts. It's not just being there when it's convenient. Real care, the kind that melts a woman's armor, shows up in the small, unsexy, ordinary moments. And this is where older men shine. Older men show they care, without saying a word. They know that care doesn't always look romantic. Sometimes it looks like pulling the blanket over her when she falls asleep on the couch, walking on the side of the road closest to traffic without needing to be told, asking, have you eaten, not are you free, noticing when her mood is off before she says a word. Younger men often need to be reminded. Older men, they remember because they've learned to pay attention. That's the difference. Caring without competition. Many younger men operate with a reward mindset. If I treat her well, she should choose me. If I'm loyal, she better not talk to anyone else. But that's not care. That's control dressed in romance. Older men don't need to win affection. They give care freely, without scoreboard, without conditions, without the fear of losing. They've lost before. They've been through heartbreak. And instead of turning bitter, they've grown gentler. They know care is not a currency, it's a gift. Women often say he treats me like a baby, and it's not condescending, it's comforting, because finally, someone is looking after her for once, not just her body, her heart, her mood, her peace of mind. Older men understand that women carry the world on their backs. Emotional labor, unspoken expectations, the pressure to be everything for everyone. So when a man walks in and says, "You don't have to do it all today, I've got you," she doesn't just fall in love, she exhales, because feeling safe is better than feeling chased, and care is the highest form of seduction. 3. Better intimacy and preparation. There's a painful truth many women silently carry. They've made out, but they've rarely been touched. Not the kind of touch that awakens, not the kind that says, "I see you, not just I want you." And here's the bitter contrast. Most young men are obsessed with performance. Older men are focused on presence. Intimacy is not a race, and older men know that. Younger men often treat intimacy like a sprint, rush into it, rush through it, then fall asleep like they just won gold at the Olympics. They call it passion, but it's just impatience with sweat. Older men, they've outgrown that. They don't rush, they don't fumble, they don't need to prove anything. They take their time like artists, not athletes. They understand that for a woman, foreplay doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts with how you look at her, how you listen, how you make her feel seen long before she's ever touched. Here's the truth. Most women don't fear intimacy. They fear being used. Younger men often dive in unprepared, physically, emotionally, even hygienically. They think being ready means being aroused. But older men understand the body follows the heart, the body follows trust, the body follows rhythm, not just readiness. They know how to read her energy. They know where not to touch and where to wait. They don't barge in. They enter like they're being let in. That difference, it's everything. For younger men watching this, no woman ever forgets the man who made her feel like a masterpiece, not a task. If you think intimacy is just about what you get, you've already failed. Because a woman who feels rushed feels unseen, and a woman who feels seen becomes unforgettable. Older men win not because they're better in bed, but because they understand that intimacy doesn't begin with the body, it begins with respect. 4. Slower, gentler, more conscious lovemaking. There's a kind of man who treats intimacy like a checklist, a performance, a race to the finish line. And then there's the man who turns it into a conversation. No pressure, no panic, no proof required. That's the difference age brings. Older men move like water. They don't rush. They don't grip. They don't pant like they're fighting time. They move with awareness, not adrenaline. Every touch is intentional. Every pause is permission. Every breath is a signal that this is not about control. This is about connection. Younger men often confuse intensity with intimacy. They believe the more aggressive they are, the more passionate it feels. But older men know, passion without patience feels like pressure. Pressure is not sexy, it's suffocating. Why women feel safer in older hands? Because he listens with his body. He doesn't nine-dive Stillness. And it's not just physical. It's in the way he checks in, mid-moment. Is this okay? Do you like this? Tell me what feels good. Younger men often don't ask. They assume. They perform. Older men learn every single time. They don't need to do the most. They just need to make sure she feels the most. That alone makes her come back, emotionally, mentally, physically, because gentle doesn't mean weak. Make no mistake, just because it's slow doesn't mean it's boring. Just because it's soft doesn't mean it lacks depth. Older men know how to build tension, not blow through it. They know that the space between touch is just as powerful as the touch itself. It's not the speed, it's the sensitivity. And when a woman feels that, she blooms. Not because you did it right, but because she felt safe enough to let go. 5. Emotional safety and loyalty, the deepest currency of intimacy. You want to know what makes a woman stay? What makes her soft again? What makes her choose a man over and over, even when her body ain't asking for it? Emotional safety. It's not about being perfect. It's about being predictable in your peace. Women don't chase chaos. They recover from it. A woman who's been with unpredictable men, men who disappear when she's emotional, snap when she's vulnerable, or get cold when she's most in need, doesn't forget that pain. It rewires her brain, teaches her to shrink, to self-soothe, to overthink, to never ask twice. Then, she meets a man who simply stays calm, listens without fixing, speaks without raising his voice, and holds space, not judgment. More often than not, that man is older. Why? Because emotional safety isn't something you fake. It's something life teaches you through failure, patience, and growth. When a woman feels emotionally safe, she shares more, laughs deeper, trusts longer, and bonds harder. It's not about how much money you have. It's not about how good your game is. It's about whether or not her soul can rest around you. And that kind of safety, it creates loyalty you can't buy, beg, or perform your way into. Older men often win because they've stopped seeing women as puzzles to solve or prizes to earn. They've learned that being a calming presence is more attractive than being the most exciting option. The paradox. Younger men try to attract women by standing out. Older men attract women by being grounded. They don't compete. They don't chase. They become the stillness in a woman's storm. And that's what makes her stay, not just in the bed, but in the life. But I unlive this message to young men watching this video. You don't have to be old to be wise. Let's be honest, age alone isn't the magic. It's what age teaches that makes older men desirable. But here's the secret no one tells you. You don't have to wait to grow gray to grow grounded. You can start now. You can become the man she feels safe with. The one who doesn't just excite her, but settles her, in the best way. What older men have that you can practice now? Presence over pressure. Stop rushing. Stop performing. Slow down and feel her. She's not a task. She's a human. She'll respond when she feels understood, not rushed. Emotional regulation. Learn to sit with her moods without trying to fix or flee. If she's anxious, don't meet her anxiety with more chaos. Meet it with clarity. Preparation is protection. Whether it's in conversation or connection, prepare yourself to make her feel safe. Ask what she likes. Learn what comforts her. Anticipate without controlling. Gentleness is not weakness. You don't need to dominate to be masculine. The calmest men often carry the most quiet power, and women feel that in their bones. Listening is the new seduction. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. Learn to listen without defense. A woman will open her body to the man who knows how to listen to her soul. Age doesn't make you better. Awareness does. You could be 22 and move like a man who's 50 in all the right ways. Not because you fake it, but because you're intentional, because you pay attention, because you practice patience, because you stop trying to be a player and start becoming a safe space. That's rare, and women feel it immediately. Younger men chase bodies. Older men connect with energy. But if you are wise enough, still enough, humble enough, you can give a woman something she'll never forget. A love that doesn't just touch her body, but calms her nervous system, honors her boundaries, and awakens her trust. You don't need to be old to become that man. You just need to choose a different path. Like, share, and subscribe.